February 29th marks the 5th anniversary of the People's Referendum. 30,000 registered Belizeans voted, and 96% of the voters voted against offshore oil exploration. But it has been 5 years on, and what has the Coalition to Save Our Natural Heritage learned from this? Well, to date, there still hasn't been a ban on offshore oil exploration, but it has been telling to those leading the charge.
I think in the end, it has just, I guess, clarified, if I could say, the biggest takeaway in that we are still talking about this issue 20 years after the fact. Somebody in Belmopan is saying yes to offshore oil. That is what we have learned. We have gained more supporters, more people are aware, more people are engaged, more people want to know where they can sign, where do I vote, where do I stand up to be counted. But that this issue has not gone away. It is very, very clear that somebody in Belmopan wants offshore oil to happen.
We have a set of letters that have been produced as recent as last week that have been sent to CU Hyde for a call to take action, a call to officially ban. We have had moments of great excitement when we thought a ban was near. However, that has not really come to fruition. And so we keep calling and we keep being the voice of this national cry that there really needs to be some form of legislation, formal action to be taken.
This call to national leaders is not new. And while the projects have different names and in different locations, the painful truth is that the issues that have plagued us for 20 years are the same issues that plague us today. An apparent and apparently deliberate lack of transparency, indifference for the regulations, policies, and regulations that are put in place to safeguard our resources, and seemingly an ever-changing development agenda.
And while the discussion and actions are not where the coalition would want them to be, today they are commemorating the 5th anniversary by calling on the government to take action. Principal among those actions is the national legislation on offshore oil. But the coalition itself is engaging partners in a newly formed committee.
One of the things that the coalition is asking for is for the government to put in place a national legislation on offshore oil. We've been calling for this for so many years before. My understanding and our understanding is that the government is currently working on a legislation to ban offshore oil within our barrier reef, within our World Heritage Site and 1 kilometer of the barrier reef. If we think about the potential risk that could still pose to our marine environment and the goods and services we are getting, that is very minimal. Another thing that we are asking for is that for the National Petroleum Act, for example, a simple measure that the government can do is remove the idea of oil exploration from that act. A third is it pertains to the EIA regulation. One of the things that government has been saying is that oil exploration activities does not pose a significant risk, and so they don't currently have it in Schedule 1 of the EIA regulation. It's in Schedule 2, which means that an environmental impact assessment is not required. So we're asking, in the process of revising the environmental regulation, we're asking government to put all oil exploration activities within Schedule 1. And finally, when it comes to discussions surrounding oil, we're asking that the government of Belize include the public in such discussions.
So today, we, the Coalition to Save Our Natural Heritage, is announcing that we will be creating a joint committee that will include stakeholders, the non-governmental community, and the government of Belize to review past environmental agendas in order to update those plans and determine the most pressing issues.
The coalition has done significant work since the People's Referendum back in 2012. They've conducted research, documented, and produced information critical to the issue at hand. While a legislation is yet to materialize, late last year, the coalition welcomed the Minister of Tourism's support against the multi-beam and seismic survey, which were ultimately cancelled. Today, they share what they say is another public declaration of the need to protect Belize's assets.
I think we are all aware as stakeholders in this industry that BPB mandate is to promote Belize as a destination, to develop and expand the tourism industry. By her very mandate, I want to assure stakeholders that there is no way BPB would support any action that impact our tourism assets. Thank you.
It's also why we need to call out the Belize Tourism Board, whose director on Friday also took the position that given their mandate to develop and expand tourism in this country, there's no way that they could support anything that impacts tourism assets. Given what offshore oil production and spills have done to tourism in other parts of the world, we want to recognize the BTB for taking the position that oil and water no mix, that ecotourism and offshore oil don't mix, and that sailboats are better than offshore oil rigs.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.